Hi, I'm making a video on how to upgrade our report. So the first video, that is this video, is on how to update the existing DevExpress report to use entity framework instead of dataset. So we need to eliminate dataset going forward. So there are two situations. We have what we call domain model. Let me open the notepad. So we have domain model. Domain models are models that are used to save data into the database. So they look like the data table. Then we have view model. View models are just used to transport data from one area of an application to the other. They don't necessarily go to the database. So you could take data from view model, update domain model and save domain model in database, or retrieve data from database into domain model and update a view model because you want to use it to render information to the viewers. So that being said, in this case, talking about report, our view model is going to be, I'll be calling it report models. So when I say report model, you know I'm talking of a model that is used to transfer information to the report, but it does not take its root, that it does not come directly from database. So there are some reports that are created using a domain model, like receipt, invoice. So the data is directly taken from the database. But there are some that the data is computed from various domain models, like P&L, for example. There's no database table called P&L in Business Central, but there's a report of P&L. So as a result, we need to create a model called P&L so that we can use that to populate our report. So somehow we compute the information and create the model, then pass it to the report. That's the plan. Now I'm going to show you two types of reports. We have some reports created from domain model and some will be view models. Okay, so let's start with the domain model type. An example is the receipt A4 here. So we have all these projects here. When you start, you'll be able to download all of them. You clone it on your system and you see all these projects. Now I've taken all the tables in Business Central database, put it in box data as model. So if you open that project and go to models, you will see all the database tables here. So you don't need to bother yourself with creating domain models again. So this is where you will look up the data in the report and decide whether it's a domain model that the report needs or a view model, in other words, reports model. So if it needs report model, then you open the data table, because we use data set before. You go to the data set, open another table, look at the fields and the view model, and come here to create it. So I'm going to show you an example. So every data comes from here. I've referenced this project in that. So you'll be working on legacy reports. Legacy being the old reports. So they are in VB.NET, so that's why I separated them. We call that legacy. The new ones that you'll be creating from Crystal Report will come to report services. So that's by the way. Okay, so we'll go to legacy report, and then all the reports have been distributed over various folders. We have, if you look at this folder, for example, we have accounting. Under accounting, we have the report section and the printouts that are related to that. I've already put them there, shifting from the old application. Then we have activity menu. We have receipts printout there. We have sales, so they'll be categorized like that. We have administrative, identity side of it, asset management, like that. So that's how you check each one and keep upgrading based on the steps I'm going to show you. Okay, let's jump right in. Now, an example of domain model report here. So this one, let me close everything first, close all documents. Okay, we have a clean slate. Now look at all the projects again. Then you can open the legacy report. Locate the report you want to work on. I'm going to work on the receipt. So double click. Now here comes the steps. So you open the report, you can see the report. Don't touch anything, just go to this junction here. Click. Now look at it. We have quite a number of data sets, main data being one of them. So the aim is to change this guy. We change the data source. This is a data set. So the main data is a data set, and this is a data table inside the data set, cash receipt. So those are the two you'll be looking at. Now, if you look at cash receipt here, you want to go into the source of that cash receipt. Or first of all, two things. Number one, go to bus data. Go to models and see if you will see cash receipts. Cash receipt. So we have cash receipt there. So that means it's already a domain model. So you don't need to bother recreating that. So, okay, so I close the wrong thing. Okay, so it's already a model, so we just change to a straight. Now to change to it. For you to change to that, you can just look at this namespace. Namespace is very important here. We have the namespace of cash receipt, and it's business central the bus data.models. So that will direct you on how to locate the data here. So let me open that again. I mistakenly closed it. Okay, so you open this again and then come to data sources. You say add report. Okay, so what we'll do next is you come here and then go to data sources, add report data source. Then you go to object, next. So you put in mind the data model that you're working on. will take a while. Okay, we have it. So you locate the project. That's bus data. Double click. And then inside bus data, we are going to the models. And then you locate the data member. The data member. So the data member in this case is cash receipt. Next. Do not select a member, just go next. Retrieve the data source schema or retrieve the actual data. So just leave it like that. Retrieve the data source schema. Finish. And that is all you need. The adapter. So you remove that. Set it to none. So the adapter has to do with dataset, and we're stopping dataset. So that's all you do in the interface. Save. And then you can close it. Later we're going to modify background data. And there are a whole lot of code to touch there. So all these data sets will be changed to the model type later. So that's for another lecture. So you do that for all the reports. This is another one. Bring it up. Determine the kind of data. This is still cash receipts. You do the same thing. Okay, now let's go on to another one that is not a domain model. Something like P&L is not a domain model. How will you know? When you come here, although the data source is still main data, it does not mean it's a domain model because there's no table like this in the database. And to confirm that, pick up the name P&L header. Now go to the bus data project and locate P&L. If you will see P, there's nothing like that. There's not like P&L data. So which means it's not in the database at all. So what you do in this case is to create that model. So you're free to copy. Let's just create the class for now. Go to that. So you create models in report models. Add class. So we're creating a model. So just paste the name and add. You will notice that it's adding the namespace, the project name. That is the project namespace, and then the folder. So which is the format we need. So first thing you want to do is to make the class public. Then the fields inside it will now need to locate the original data source. So this main data 1, and that is the data table inside the main data 1. So let's locate it. We can view code. And if you can see it, main, so you can see there are still a lot of things you still need to create. As long as they're related, you create all of them. So that's the guy. You will see that it has other tables that are related. So when you get into the data set, you will see the relationship. So you say go to definition. Let's see if that works. Okay, we're in the definition. So that shows from from this side that this is where the data is. So you can see this is another project, BS main data. BS main data. Okay, so we're on the model creation for P&L. So like I said before, from the report, that's the report. The legacy report. Legacy report, you can close the whole thing, collapse the whole thing, and then go to legacy report. And then we are in accounting report, P&L. Now we can right click and view code. So I'm in the code section. Now locate where you will see the data's member. So P&L header. Then right click, go to definition. You don't want to open the user interface of the data set because it will cause a lot of problem. It's memory intensive and it will crash out your application. So the best thing is to navigate all the fields in code. Now this is the property on the data set itself. Now you want to go to the data type, which is P&L header data table. Still go to definition again. Then from here you want to go to the data row object. So the data row object is actually the model in this case, the data row. So we go to P&L header row, go to definition again, and this is our data. So from here you will notice some properties. These are the properties here, the ones marked property. Then if it has any child navigational property, you will see it under the get whatever. You will see it as a method too, as get something, get that, and it returns an array. This is an array with that in front in VB.NET. If you see that bracket, it means that it's an array that will be returned. So this is the child. So if it's also parent, you will see that it will not return array, it will just return single record. So let's see. So we still need to navigate to all those eventually. So I'm going to pick this property, check the data type is an integer, return back to the model you're creating. Under bus data, report model, that's our model. You just put it. To do that, you say prop, then tab. When you type prop and tab in the class, it creates property for you quickly. If the data type you want is integer, just tab again, and then we can paste our class. Next line. Return back there. That's our guy. Header is a string. Go to our class object. You need to open it and make sure it's around. If it's not, so that we can make sure this stays permanently. And somehow I've lost this again, so let me go back and locate it. Under the data project, yeah, there. Okay, so we have the two side by side. You need to do that to make things fast. So prop again, tab, string, tab. So you tab 2 times in each case, tab 2 times. So we have our header. Now what else do we need? So we need this navigational property. So it will end up being, let's first go and look at the class name. So for us to locate the class, drill down to the class itself. Look at the property here. This property means P&L account type is a child of P&L header. So look at the relationship. P&L header being the parent of P&L account type. So which means we need to create P&L account type as a model again. So just like we did this one, which is P&L header row. Remember, we didn't join row to that class name. So let's drill down to that. We still need to return back here later to see the relationship. So go to definition again. So we are in that class again. So our new class name is going to be that. Copy without the row, which we will put in the same folder here. Report model, add class. Public. Okay, and from here you look at the properties again. We have this everything map property. I think that is an integer here. So you say prop tab int paste end. Next line. Account type string prop tab string tab paste end. Enter. Header ID, that's relationship to the parent. This is an integer. We say prop tab int and then paste end. Enter for next line. Now here you can see this is a reference to P&L header row, which is the parent that we've already created. So this is where they related. So it's a parent. You will see the relationship, parent relations. So P&L header is a parent to P&L account type. So for that, that's the name of the property there. But we're not going to call it row in our own case. We use our normal entity framework style. If it's parent that we want to represent in the child, we're going to do it this way. Prop virtual. Then the data type. P&L header, which is the model. Make sure it's the model and not the data set, and then as a property name. Don't join row and don't make it plural. So now this has been related to the parent. Now let's go relate the parent also to the child. Now the parent returns array, but in our own case we return list. So let's go to the header class. So this is our guy. For us to quickly go to header class, we need to navigate through there. But still check if there's any other property you need to pick. So you can see there's still another property, which is P&L material row, which is a child again to P&L account type. Take note, you may need lots of papers to do this. So this is another property you need to keep in mind, but let's undo this first. So we'll return back to this guy, go to definition, and then we'll locate that child property. We can see that it's getting everything that is related to. So because we have the header ID in both, we know that they are related that way. So here we create a property that bears that name, but in plural form. Plural. So let's do that. So go back to this one, the class, the model, and I created prop, tab, virtual. Then the data type is list, because we are expecting an array list of that child model P and L account type. And the name of property is going to be P and L account type is plural. Make sure you follow the cases in the naming convention. Just write it as it is. We are upgrading an old application. So they are related now. Then we make this the key here. To make it key, we just do key like that, attribute. So it's not there naturally. So you say show potential fix and choose the data annotation class. So you can say Control KD to align well. Now we're done with that. So make sure you're done. Make sure you've covered everything. So we've covered everything here. Now we'll return back to this guy. Confirm it again. We've added that. Now we've added this. So that's 4 fields now. 4 fields. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4. Then proceed. Look for more. All these ones are not part of it. We don't need all that. So we need this. We're getting this child. So this is a child now. We also drill down as usual. Go to definition. Create the class. Copy. Return back to the same folder. Add. Class. Paste. Add. Make it public as usual. Let's start harvesting the fields again. So look at the properties. We have a property here, SN, integer. Prop tab is an integer tab, SN. And enter. Next one. Header. It's a string. Prop string. Paste. End. Account type is a string. Prop string. Paste. End. Account name. Prop string. Paste. End. Amount is double. Prop double tap paste. End. Account type ID. So this is the parent link column. Is an integer. Prop tab int tab paste. End. Enter. Now we have the parent link here. So because you can see it's pointing to that parent. So we'll create the property like we did before, and this is singular here. Copy that. You don't include the row like I said. So because the object of the parent already exists, that makes it easy. So we say clock virtual, then the type name, tab, the same type name as the property name, and enter. So do we have any other thing? Okay, no other thing. Be careful to make sure it does not have any other child and any other parent. It could have more than one parent, so be careful. So this one has one parent, like we can see. And if we return back there now, we now see where they relate. So you will always say the relationship at the last, the base of the class. You notice there are multiple classes in this file. So we have to create this property as well, but plural, because it's a. So that's it. Go to definition 2, and then, so this guy has parent and child, so we say prop virtual space list of the child type tab spaces plural. Make sure you save. So we've inspected the 3 models. So notice how we move from one model, drill down to all the 3. We've seen their relationships. So now we can now use the class. Now because they are not in the same project, you have to right click on BS data and rebuild first. Make sure it's built correctly before you can use it for the other projects. Okay, so we have 1 success, 0 fail, so fine. You proceed straight to the Dev Express report. So we'll go to the Dev Express report. Now we're at the code section of the Dev Express report. We need to get to the design view. So double click. And then it's up. Then you do the same thing we did at the other time. Go to the data source, open that, add report data source, object as usual, next. Okay, so now locate the bus data. Next, locate the report models now, not the model. Report, that's where we placed it. And then pick the header, the one that corresponds with the data member. The one that corresponds with the data member. Header. Next. Next. Finish. Then remove the table adapter because we don't need data set again. Save and close. Then you are done with that. Then you can proceed to the next one. The next one, now you view code to make sure it's not using, if it's using a model, a domain model or view model. So from what you can see here, this header, this is account time, and this material. So you just go, because you're seeing that it's using the same one you just created, and then you can also confirm here if that is true. P&L header, great. So all you just do is attach immediately. Object, next, Boss data next. Model, open the tree. Report model, pick the header next. Next. Finish. And don't make mistake, please. And then you close. Finish.